I have no filter these days. Yeah, it's a fake way of bonding, really.
Quiet.
So,
Did not go well.
and that was like the straw that broke the camel's back that led to my total emotional breakdown. Thank you, Melissa, for listening to your intuition.
My mom being dead.
And Angie.
Just see you next time.
See you next time. Okay, let's go fast. 1, 2, 3.
Unquiet soul.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, because I just edited that and I was like, oh my God. Let me just get creative here. Because some shit we just don't talk about. You know what I mean? Because it's a lifelong battle for me, I think. Ooh, speaking of, can't even talk freely about this shit because of, I'll drop some hints so that you'll know. But got into a thing with my spouse today about some other people who I've had issues with in the past. Same shit, different fucking day, and I'm choosing violence right now. If I'm being honest, I'm making an active choice to be pissed right now. So that's where I'm at. But my last recording canceled, so I'm actually just like super stoked to see you. So
Oh, yeah, I always look forward to this call. Also, on choosing violence, I remember like when I truly started my healing journey in earnest, I invested in myself, I hired a coach, and it's a process, but at one point I the only time I truly went crazy on someone, I like totally went off on someone in public, and that happened when I was working with my coach, and initially, I was, like, proud of myself because I was like, "Yeah, I just stuck up for myself." But then I went down this shame spiral because it's like, I reacted, all the things.
yes.
I almost didn't even tell my coach because I was so embarrassed and ashamed. But then I was
Yeah.
like "I'm just gonna tell him, and then he's just gonna remind me to respond and not react, and then we can just move on." Well, so anyway, I tell him the story, and he paused, and just to clarify it a little more, I won't go into the whole backstory, but he knew the backstory of this person and what this person had done to me. And we were on a Zoom call, but he looked at me and he was like, I don't care how zen you are. Sometimes you just need to go off on people. And so, yeah, and that stuck with me so hard because that was his exact quote. And I normally don't remember exact quotes, but it stuck with me so hard because it's like you can be spiritual and still like choose violence. I'm not saying it's okay all of the time. I'm not saying it's okay to like truly be violent, but
Right.
sometimes you just need to tell people off or do the thing. And that doesn't mean you're not a bad person. That doesn't mean you're not spiritual, whatever. It means you're a human being and you have feelings, and sometimes you just need to speak up. So
Yeah, and
that's where I
today I'm
stand
just
on it.
like, man, I'm tired. Like, we're both the fucking problem in this scenario, and I'm tired of being the only problem. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I know
So,
exactly what
anyway,
you
since
mean.
I can't get into the whole thing, I'm
Yeah.
just gonna drop it because I'm annoyed. So, anyway, I'm pissed at him. But, um, okay, do you have anything? Because I want to expand on actually the conversation we were just having a little bit, but I wanna
Yeah.
get if you have something first.
Like not off the top of my head.
Okay. So interesting that this is how the conversation started because, okay, so last week, my friend, she listens to the episodes and then she like will talk about it, which that's probably like my favorite thing ever for like when
Yeah.
people who listen, people letting me know they listen to either both of my shows, like really feels good, but like to give like feedback in a way that's like I'm learning in real time, like they're learning in
Yeah.
real time. It's really special to me. So I appreciate her vulnerability because this is I will say this is a very unique gift that I feel like she has because not everybody is willing to be open to receive information in such like a I don't even know how to frame it, but um especially someone like her who is admittedly somewhat emotionally unavailable. Sort of. We're going to get into that. But
Okay.
like it Okay, so you'll see why I'm saying that. Okay, so she at first her feedback was like, "Hey, I'm listening in real time." She was like halfway through, maybe 3/4 of the way through the episode, sent a voice note, and at first it was about me. You remember how I was like, "Yeah, I woke up real pissed at this friend today for not showing me support the way I had shown them," and this is a good point because I'm sure anybody could have taken this away from that possibly that friend just didn't know how to support or felt like so what one of the feedbacks that I'm getting quite regularly, which makes perfect sense to me, but is that it's somewhat difficult to remember that I'm not the person I was 2 years ago and that I
Yeah,
do want people to
that
check
makes
on me
sense.
and love me, things like that. And so and also like she was like and when it was my dad, I felt kinda overwhelmed by people checking on me. So, like, it's not my natural instinct to go, "That's what I want, so that's what I would do." And she was really careful to be like, "Not that I'm comparing, and I recognize that maybe there's a different level of need when you lose your child versus you lose your dad."
Yeah,
I was like, "I would say that's probably true, that you do need different things." Also, I wondered, like, if her overwhelm was for the same reason I would have been a few years ago, which is like, there's vulnerability here and I don't really know how to handle it. Also, what's really cool is I texted her today to make sure that she didn't like have a problem with us having this conversation. She was like, never. And she's like, disagree with anything I said, like, be open, cool. And I was like, that's great. Thank you. So, then we get, so anyway, let me clarify that friend was never a good friend to me. Like, I'll just be honest. Like, in terms
yeah,
of how I define good friend, that friend isn't willing and able to connect. Like, and I'm not even talking authentically. I'm just saying in general, like, even in my worst, this is a friend I had in my old identity. So, like, how good is
yeah.
that going
No,
to be?
that
They're
makes a ton
mirroring
of sense.
that version of myself. We're not going to
Yeah,
be, you know what I mean? But, so they were never a great friend. That's why I felt like it was a funny coincidence to wake up and decide to be pissed at them that day because they never showed up for me. The only thing they did was provide me fucking Adderall that I didn't have a prescription for. That's the only nice thing that, like, that's it.
yeah,
So, anyway, I won't get too far into that, but so I understood what she meant because I was like, "Oh, okay, well, you don't know this backstory of this friend and whatever, so that's fine." But I thought I'd make a point of clarity there. So then we get to she hears you say about the person that you used to know who wanted to be perpetually unbothered, whatever, and then just shut it all down. Like there was no anything. And she's like, "Shit. I I think that's what I've been doing." She's like, "In fact, I know it is because this is what's wild to me, and I cannot believe I haven't seen this before. Like, I've known this person since I was in fucking ninth grade. I mean, we had a little break after high school, but um, I didn't realize that her shame was the same as mine in her reactivity. I didn't realize that she carried and this isn't even really a conversation I've had with her yet, but I was
yeah,
like, "I know you so much better in 5 seconds now." Like, realizing that all you wanted to do was not like, that people called her mean, and I've been one of those people. Like, you know what I mean? And
yeah.
and and I was like, "Oh my god, we were the exact same person, I didn't even see it." Like,
It's so interesting.
I'm, like, getting the chills just thinking about it because 'cause
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
actually
actually getting chills
unraveling this.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's so easy to judge someone by their behaviors, but there's so much going on in their
Right.
internal world that we're not even aware.
Right. I well, because I didn't I think some parts of her were perfectly fine with being, I'm gonna use the word abrasive, blunt, whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But then the world, I told her she was too much. Like, that hurts me actually. I
yeah,
haven't even let that part sink in till now, so it's making me cry, but, like, I hurt her because I told her
yeah,
she was too much. She told me I was too much too, so fuck, whatever, but, like, I was part of that. So,
yeah,
then, she was saying, like, she admitted, like, also, I don't want this is not, I'm paraphrasing, but it's like, "I don't wanna be there for you too much because I over empathize and it hurts me too bad." She said, "I'm sorry
Mm,
if that's hurtful, whatever," and I was like, "No, it's not." It was actually amazing because she hit me at the perfect time to where I wasn't gonna take shit personally, you know what I mean? I was in a
yeah,
really good mood. Um, and I was like, "Interesting." So that's when I told her though, I was like, because she's like, she has always said like, "I'm overly empathetic, I feel things too deeply, whatever," and I was like, "No, no, no, let's back up a little bit." Because I was like, "You are a Cancer, so you do take on other people's energies and emotions very easily. But where you're being emotionally unavailable is by trying to shut that off. Whereas you could build a better energetic boundary
yeah,
and you feel it when you're with the person. But if you are still," I was trying to explain the difference between empathy and overthinking because she's like, "Wait, what?" And I said, "Yeah. So if you are leaving that interaction, normal for you to feel drained, normal for you to like, oh, god damn, that was a lot. But
yeah,
where you're jumping into the overthinking spiral is if you're still picturing me having this loss, that you just like overly feeling for me, that's not empathy. That's overthinking." And
yeah.
so her
Also, that's
reception
not
of that,
having emotional boundaries because
right, exactly.
she has good, external
Physical.
boundaries. Yeah,
Right, yes, and so how do you, so I thought this would be a really good way for us to talk about this because I
yeah,
was like, "Oh, wow," and her ability to receive that information and want to, and she admitted, she's like, "I don't know if I'm ready to just, like, turn it all back on because it has
of
been
course
peaceful."
not.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And I was like, "God, I remember that feeling." Like, I remember that. In fact, right now with my level of agitation and things like that, just through grief, I'm in a very, like, cannot talk to very many people for the last week or so because it's too much. But, I
Yeah.
mean, I don't wanna stay there, you know? So I said, you know, like, you would wanna ground, you would wanna whatever, but I thought we could really go into the difference between
Mm,
overthinking and empathy.
yeah. Well, I always say this, the first key is awareness, so the fact that she's aware of it now is huge because I think some people just kind of operate in this mode where it's, like, not even at their level of awareness. So I think that's great that she recognized that within herself.
Yeah.
But also man, I so relate to what she's saying because, like, when I first found out about Jake, like, I was crying and, like, remember we were, like, going to have our normal call,
Yes.
but then, like, you had to go to the funeral home, and I was actually relieved because I was like, "I'm not gonna be able to have a conversation without crying."
Yeah.
Um but at the same time, like, yeah, I can't stay there and keep absorbing those emotions. So, like, for me, and this is just specific to this situation because I think
Yeah.
it's gonna vary, but I just was like, I just focused on sending love to you and your family because, like, me being in the vibration of that, it's not helping you at
Of
all.
pain.
It's
Exactly.
definitely not helping me. So I was like, I'm just gonna do what I can to help the situation at an individual level. So I
Yes.
was just, like, refocusing my energy in a more positive way, and that won't apply to every situation, but I think that applies to a lot of things.
Well, interestingly, if I'm gonna be 1,000% honest, I was talking to ChatGPT last night because I was kinda, like, just struggling, and I just needed to get some stuff out and ask, like, questions, you know? But ChatGPT even was like, "I have to create a container for my grief too." So, like,
Yeah,
deciding one of the phrases it gave me to help me, because I was like, "Is it avoiding to be able to do the things I do at the same time?" Because I felt like I worried part of my agitation, that's what I brought up to ChatGPT was my agitation, because I don't wanna be reactive, you know?
mhm,
But I was like, "Is it because I've been avoiding? I don't feel like I've been avoiding," and ChatGPT said, "No, like, that's a dysregulated nervous system from grief, like, expect that. That's
yeah,
something you're gonna have to continue to work through," and I was like, "Okay, great. That's fine." But, um, it did give me some phrases like I can hold this safely, or I'm going to touch this and then I'm going to back away. And that felt really good to think like, okay, I also have to take those energetic breaks where I go, it said, give yourself 30 minutes to do any of the wallowing that you want to do,
Yeah.
and then say, I'm going to put this in its place and I will be back at a different time. But like, it's okay. I needed the permission, I guess, to live a life. It doesn't go away, but I also don't have to, like, sit there with it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
I think that
Well,
it's a good point to say that's kind of how we all need to live.
yeah, I think compartmentalization gets a bad rap, but I do think there's situations where you almost have to do it. Like, I remember after my dad died, I actually would set timers. I'm like, okay, I have
Uh-huh.
15 minutes to just lay on the floor and cry, and then I'm gonna take 30 minutes to work or do whatever, and then I can take 5 more minutes to cry. Like, I would actually like allocate time because you do have to allow yourself time to feel how you feel, but
Yes.
you also have a life that needs to be lived, and you can't just put that on the back burner because you're in a shitty mood.
Right. Well, and that's where I was like I even was like, "Damn, I haven't had a big cry in a few days," until yesterday, like, it was really big, but it felt good too. But,
Yeah.
like, apparently that's a part of a dysregulated nervous system too, like, it doesn't feel safe to cry, all that s
Mm,
but I do feel like having the tools to go, "What this is what I do next," is the important part, and I think I've gotten so good at getting out of my head, and I was explaining to her what being in your body is like and, in a very elementary way,
yeah.
um, versus and that it's normal for us to be afraid of
Oh,
feeling,
yeah. Well,
especially when feelings have never been safe. They have never been safe,
and
you
this
know?
goes back to, like, how we were talking was that just last week about being addicted to running and whatever, like, that's how these behaviors to numb your feelings come about
Yep.
because you can't stand being in your body while feeling the feelings.
Yes, and I promise to anyone, it's not as bad as all the things we do to avoid
Yeah,
it. It
of
it
one
just it doesn't even
100%
hurt.
agree.
Like, it's just like I mean, of course, it hurts while you're feeling it, but it's like, it's over in 90 seconds. Every
Yeah,
time, it's over in 90 seconds.
it's one of those things where once you do it, you're like, "What was I so afraid of?"
Yes, yes. It's like any of those things that you do that you're so, like, panicked
Yeah,
about. And, I mean, that's why I am so committed to not letting fear stop me from doing things. But I mean, like, things that am afraid will hurt me. I let fear stop me from lots of things, don't play. But, like, in terms of, like, hurting
yeah,
my heart, I'm not, allowing that to be, like, the ruler of my life. But for me, I think I have found still the only grounding method that works for me is to name the things I see right in front of me, because then I'm present. So it really
yeah,
is about getting out of the story that's been created in your head and into real life. What's happening to you physically, in your environment, inside you, whatever, right here, right now, and not in the place that, creates all these narratives for you. And I mean, goddamn, my brain is quite the storyteller. Hers is
yeah.
too. I know
I
how
think
her
all
brain
of
works.
ours, like, yeah, think of the stories we spin in our heads versus, like, what actually plays out in reality. I mean
Right. Well, I mean, like, I have I think I might have mentioned this, but I have a couple that I'm seeing right now as clients where, I mean, I had to just get really blunt because they're EAP. So you only get 6 sessions. And I was like, yeah, we're going to not fuck around here. And session 4, I was like, here's the deal. I hear you that you really, really believe that what you're saying, but I'm gonna tell you where that comes from. So
Yeah,
it's gonna be up to you to make the connection and see it to be able to shift your paradigm. But like, I get that this feels like the truth to you, but it's not true, and it is
yeah,
ruining your relationship. And then looking to the spouse to be like, they really think that's the truth. Like, that's what's gonna be at the front of their mind every time this issue comes up. This is something that's gonna be in the middle of this relationship, so you have to understand that's not about you. This is a real belief that has to be changed. But I think, it really just helps to I mean, in terms of, like, setting energetic boundaries, I don't think that I even have to as much in terms of, like, when I'm in a space with someone.
Yeah.
It is the before and it is the after. So, like, no, I'm not gonna be available to anyone truly 24/7. Like, and I'm
Yeah.
not gonna expect that of anyone either, like, period, because we all have a life to live, you know? Like, so 24/7 just would be unreasonable, I think. But, I mean, maybe in those earliest days of losing Jake, it wouldn't have been unreasonable to
Yeah.
ask someone to be there for me at, like, 2 a.m., but, like, I don't expect that of anyone. But I think that's a great boundary to have is like I respond when I'm able. And the truth is, shit, we've had this conversation 3 times. If you really aren't able, you're not able.
Yeah.
If that's ever, that's okay. But I think the important part is to stay curious about why you feel like you're not able. And it's usually just fear and it's usually just being emotionally unavailable. So I think it like if you wanted to set an energetic boundary around a relationship, you just be willing to go into the conversation and feel whatever happens to come up, empathy, compassion, grief, pain. And then when you leave, it's just about soothing yourself, taking care of yourself, and
Yeah.
getting out of your head, doing the things that it takes to get that energy out of your body that you just like took on. So you do have to do some movement, whether it's shaking your hands, deep breaths, all of the above, a warm
Yeah.
bath. I mean, you do have to provide yourself a little bit of care after leaving a really heavy interaction like that.
Yeah, that's a really good point because I don't feel like I do anything in the moment because to truly give space to someone, I think you have to have that level of emotional availability. I don't know if
Mhm.
it's even possible to guard yourself in the moment. It may be, but I think you and I have become well practiced enough that we can do the aftercare and
Yes.
that suffices.
Yeah, and I think it's just about it's kind of like I was reading something again today, like, if you need this, like, if you're this, then do
Okay.
this. You know what I mean? I've
Yeah.
always loved little tools like that. Now I just kinda have a running checklist because 'cause I'm always gonna go to the physical first. Do I need to eat? Do I need
Yeah.
protein? Do I need water? Do I need sleep? Do I need a shower? Those are gonna be the very first things, like, any
Because
of those
sometimes
things.
eating and sleeping cures a lot.
It cures a lot, and so it would be natural for you to go sleep a little more or whatever. So maybe you don't schedule a visit with someone that you feel like is gonna be really heavy on a day where you've got a bunch of shit to do. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, so yeah, it does take a little bit of forethought, and as you become more practiced with these things, I think it becomes a little more second nature. Like, I know when I have time for something and when I don't. The truth I mean, I have a friend who's had lots of grief in the last few years. I can't say that I have been, like, super present. I didn't have the capacity to be. I've
Yeah.
been dealing with my own shit, you know? So, like, I did my best. I've done my best, but they may not feel like my best was enough for them, and that's just the sacrifice that you make sometimes to take care of yourself. So, we don't have to feel shame either when we don't have the capacity for fucking anything. That I
Yeah.
use that one all the time, like, it's a capacity issue. I can't do it right now.
And the thing is, like, if I were struggling with something and I reached out to you, if you didn't have the capacity, I wouldn't want you to agree to it anyway, because then you're going to show up in a way that's not helpful for either of us. So what's the point?
Baby, let me be honest. If I show up for someone at a moment where I don't have it to give, I'm resentful as fuck and
Same.
very lacking in empathy and compassion. Your problems seem really stupid and insignificant to me if I'm in that place. You know what I mean?
Oh, I know
And
exactly what you
then
mean.
now that's a whole other thing I get to work through later is that I feel
Yeah.
like an asshole for that. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. Cause then it manifests either with you being
Yes.
rude to them or whatever.
Yes. No, I'm not going to be
And then
nice. That's
and
the
then it's like a whole
thing.
separate thing. No, I get it. And that's what I mean. Like, it's not good for either person. So yeah, I
So
would rather you just be
don't say
honest
yes.
with me, like, "Hey, I'm dealing
Yes,
with my own
yes,
shit too." Which
yes.
honestly, as adults, I think that's all that really needs to be said. I'm dealing with my own shit too, because adulting is hard,
It's
life is
so
hard.
hard.
Like, if you say you're going through
Yes,
something hard too, like, I get it, like, no explanation
yes.
needed.
Yeah, and we don't have to compare hards
Yeah.
either. Like, that's the thing is that, like, your hard doesn't have to be the same as mine for me to know you're fucking at capacity. That's it. Like, and I did tell her too, like, well, the whole point of that conversation really was me saying, but I also have to learn how to be the person reaching out and asking for what I need.
Yeah.
And ChatGPT gave me several different examples of things I could ask for because that's I don't even know what the fuck to ask for.
What did it
I'm
say?
not really a person who wants to talk. If I wanna talk to the void with no response back and just some bullshit affirmations, I'll go to fucking social media for that, and I do. Like, in the middle of the night, whenever I just need to get it out, that's where those posts come from. I'm not gonna text a friend for that because I do get extremely agitated at the, I'm so sorry." I know you are, and I know that if I was in that situation, I wouldn't know what the fuck you wanted me to say either. Like,
I
because
know. I
any
hate
of
the
the stuff that
pity
anyone would
response,
recommend to
though.
you, like, I just like, any like, how they're like, "That must be so hard," where they're just reframing what you're saying and whatever. There's nothing anyone could say to really comfort you. It does help to have someone to say it to, but it's
Yeah.
also like, ugh. So, the whole point of that was I'd rather just say it to social media, and then by the time people start responding, I'm asleep, and you know what I mean? So, like, it's like, whatever. But some of the ideas were things like, "Can we get together for some fun?" Like, "Can I need a
Mm.
distraction," or, "I'm at low capacity, but I would like presence. Can we go for a walk?" That would be great. Like, I
I
never
mean,
even I love that.
that seems so simple, but it's like, why haven't I ever done that before?
No, why didn't I even know? But I think, we just get really wrapped up in like, oh, something's wrong and I don't know what, and I don't know how to fix it. And I don't want to fix anything. I just I just want to start recognizing what I need when I need it because unfortunately I now get to live with this for the whole fucking rest of my life. So it's not about getting to a better place. It's not about
Yeah.
anything. It's learning how to fucking manage this. Last week, it was not managed well. I don't want another week like that. I know that
Yeah.
it was hormone related. ChatGPT made me feel better about that. Said your floor is much lower or some shit, and I was like, okay, thank you, because I felt like a psycho. But it does feel bad when you're just, like, raging at people for no reason and, like, I don't like that
Oh, but yeah,
tense
we were talking
feeling.
about that though, because I get like right before my period starts, I get so irritable at everything.
Bitch, it's so bad. I get, like, 11 days of irritability, and I don't usually
11?
get 11.
Oh,
3
I
days
get
after
like
I ovulate, the whole
1
fucking
day.
time.
Oh,
Welcome to
that
PMDD,
sucks.
it's so fun. Um, and then usually, though, on my period, it's not as bad, but welcome to 45, I guess. I don't know, but it was really bad. And it was just basically like your threshold's lower. It's basically like when you have a low immune system and a little tiny germ
Yeah.
invades. My immune system's low right now, my emotional immune system. So, you just don't have the threshold. And I was like, okay, thank you for the affirmation. I try not to use ChatGPT, but god damn it, I needed someone. So it gave really good feedback and I was like, thank you. But yeah,
I
I
like it
really
when I
think
need someone to hype me up because it never disagrees with anything I say.
mm, listen.
So
I
if
watched
I'm
this
like,
TikTok the other day of, like, the way ChatGPT responds to you, like, "Queen, yes," and I'm like, "God damn it. Okay, what does this say about me that it makes me feel so fucking good?" It was like, "Melissa, that is the best idea you've ever had." And I'm like, "Oh my god, thanks." But sometimes it knows what the fuck it's talking about, and it gave me some really good feedback last night. It was just
I
a weird little moment where I was like, "Hey, what do I do about this?" But, yeah, so I just feel really, like honestly, I think my whole weekend was better because of that conversation with her because, um, I don't know, like, that's the whole point of all this is
Yep.
helping other people to see themselves, and it really helped me to see my role too. Like, I needed to see where I fucked up in that friendship
Yeah.
because listen, the truth is, not recently, I promise, but for years, the narrative in my head was that I was a better friend to her than she was to me.
Mm.
And are we surprised? No, because that's the way I felt about everybody. But Um, I like when I receive evidence of my flaws. Like, I knew I wasn't perfect, but
Yeah.
to see that I did the exact same shit to her, that I had the deepest wounding in our relationship, like, about, I did the exact same shit. I told her she was too much and not enough
Yeah.
all the time in varying different ways. And now, even just saying that, now I understand why she felt so she would never have identified it as like hurt by me constantly telling her she was hurting my feelings because she was like me. We're very quick to anger. Like
Yeah.
we know what to do with anger, you know? Um, but I can see now where it was like, I'm just trying to fucking exist and you're just over here hating every ounce of my existence. And it's good to feel the pain of causing that in someone else so that I don't repeat those patterns, but damn, I'm not going to beat myself up about it, but it's also like shit. I've done this way more than like I'm even realizing. Like I need to now realize I wasn't a very good friend to some people. Like, in some ways I was, but, like,
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
did some really shitty stuff. Like, even the friends who just decided to hate me all of a sudden, at the tail end of that mental health crisis, I have found where I fucked up, and where I didn't show up for them and whatever. Um, and I apologized. It was not received well, but I did
Yeah.
because I could see where I fucked up, and I guess a little bit of humility goes a long way. But that really reminds me too of like the different lessons that I learned last week really tie into me saying, this is my life now for the rest of my life, that I'm going to have to learn how to hold all of this. And sometimes I'm not going to hold it well. And that's
Yeah.
okay too. But that it's no longer about trying to manifest wealth and freedom and whatever. It's no longer about trying to accomplish anything. It is about learning to practice balancing my chakras. Like getting
Yeah.
those where I'm practicing being in the right vibrations. And what is my relationship with love? How am I giving to love and receiving from love? And if that's my focus, everything else falls into place because I'm
Yeah.
at the right frequency. I'm having the experience that I want if I'm in my love and in my joy and in my compassion. And I'm working on, being open and receptive to what this experience brings me, my people bring me, money brings me, whatever. If I'm open to, or if I'm working on using my authority, all of those things, like just the different chakras, like where can I go wrong? And so
Yeah.
I'm really shifting my focus more into not trying to show up. How do I word that? My action steps are different now. Like my inner world is reflecting that my focus has to be on those things and not trying to accomplish or
Yeah.
be, like I don't want to be reactive. That can't be my focus. My focus has to be I want to work on my relationship with love. I want to work on my relationship with authority. I want to work on, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that's all the focus, and then the byproduct will be all those things I ever fucking wanted to begin with.
Yeah.
So that's kinda where I'm at right now.
I love that because at one point, this was probably going a few years back now. Yeah, instead of like having an intention of like an end result, I make my daily intention or weekly intention or whatever about like the energy that I want to be in. So like to your point, it's like love or joy or whatever because yeah, that affects everything that you do.
Yes.
Because even
And I
money is energy. So even if like your end
exactly.
goal is money, if you're focused on abundance and even love, like being in the energy of love still attracts money. Like I tell this to my
Yes.
clients all the time because they'll come to me after breakup and they're focused on love, but I'm like doing this work, like it opens you up to everything, not just love.
Yes. Well, and if love is your center, then everything else is where it needs to be. Like,
Yeah.
you're just
Honestly, like,
receptive.
yeah, if you just focus on one energy to be in, love would be the perfect one because that encompasses everything,
Yes, and I
including
really
including money.
want to, because I met 2 people last week, maybe even 3, um, that well, 2 of them were very into the, well, one was like a yogi, but she really was all about the chakras, like yoga poses that help you, like, center on one chakra, and I was like, "Damn, I didn't even know that, like,
Well,
that's what all that shit was really about."
I think traditional yoga is. Like, yoga has become so westernized that it's
Yes.
basically just a workout, but yeah, there's, like,
Yes.
the whole concept of yoga, it's like this whole spiritual and emotional thing as well.
Yeah,
I
girl, I
don't know
learned
all the
some shit.
details, so I can't
And she has an Audible book, so I'm
Oh,
actually going
cool.
to listen to that, and, you'll really like that episode. And then I got to meet with, Cheryl Stelt. I had her on before, and, it was such a beautiful conversation, and we talked about chakras again because she did my chakra reading for free that one time. Um, but just again, like the first girl was like talking about how am I giving to love, like that relationship with love. And I was like, oh, damn. And I do want to set more intentions. And I don't know with my little Gemini ADHD ass if it's going to be weekly or daily or like I do like in terms of what do I want, which I really am going to kind of focus on the chakras because that makes sense to my brain. Like,
Yeah.
"Oh, okay, that's my intention this week." I
Yeah,
don't know if I wanna do a week or a day.
plus it's more limited because if you get into emotions, there's, like, a whole range.
God damn it.
Um,
Yes.
I actually have found daily intentions helped because for me, it's easier to focus on that throughout the day, whereas, like, if Sunday I set a weekly intention, by Wednesday,
Mhm.
I've slept a few times since then, so then I forget about it
Yeah.
easier.
Well, it's less intuitive that way, I think, if you're doing it on a Sunday and then trying to,
Yeah, agree, because the daily intention, I do it pretty soon after I wake up because I do my gratitude journal and whatever, and it's in my journaling practice that the very last thing I do is set my daily intentions, so it is more intuitive.
Yeah, I think I would like that too. And also thinking about even yoga in terms of the spiritual concepts makes me much less resistant to doing it.
Mm,
Like, if I'm just specifically thinking of a few poses that help with this thing, and that's my intention versus I gotta do a 5-minute workout or a 15-minute
yeah,
workout or a
or like,
30-minute
this
workout.
pose is burning my legs and
Yes, like all those things, like, yeah, I'm really excited about the possibilities with this because I don't think that those conversations came along at the time that they did for no reason, and all the guests I interviewed last week were talking about the same shit. Not a
not a
coincidence, you
coincidence,
know?
no.
And Cheryl is how I ended the week, and it was beautiful, like, it was just so I just and then that's why I was in such a good mood when I get this voice memo, and I was like, "Oh
Yeah.
my god," like, I'm so happy. I'm, again, grateful to myself continually for, like, working on myself so that I can be so open and receptive because a different version of me probably could have been pissed off at several of the things she said,
Oh, yeah, because it's hard to
pretended not
receive
to be, of
feedback.
course, but held resentments for the rest of our lives, like, "No, that didn't make me mad. I don't wanna talk to you for, like, 6 months, but no, I'm just busy. That's all. I'm just busy." But,
Also,
like,
it's
I just
amazing sorry,
go
I was
ahead.
just gonna say it's
No.
amazing that you have a friend that's also open and receptive to feedback because when I work with people on boundaries, I'm like, "You have to start with safe people because not everybody is, like, safe, so you need to practice with people who are safe."
Yeah, and I have to be safe too because the thing is
Yeah.
that, like, I think she's always been open, but I think I was so reactive that her curiosity triggered the fuck out of me.
Mm,
So when she was asking questions, I would flood and overwhelm, I would just be I would shut down so quickly because it would feel feeling misunderstood is a really big trigger for me, and that directly correlates to I'm not seen, and I feel,
Same.
betrayed and neglected every time that comes up. And so the thing that I've really been working on in conversations is to stay safe when someone is questioning, and especially somebody being open and receptive to the shit I'm saying, just asking for points of clarity, which is allowed, but I couldn't handle that before. I really
Yeah.
couldn't. And I remember being like, questions really upset me and I don't know why. And then I didn't even feel safe to say that. In some ways, that was warranted because she was like, well, but that reminds me of my narcissistic husband. She was married to a piece of shit. But
Okay.
um, and then I'd be like, "Ugh, now I'm a narcissist. Well, okay. Well, I had a lot of traits. Let's be real. I've talked about that. I had a lot of narcissistic traits. So like, yeah. Okay, makes sense that would register on your narcissistic scale. But it just felt so scary because I was like, I am valid. I am valid. I am valid, but I didn't know
Yeah.
how to. I have to remember I'm valid. I'm in my own fucking authority no matter how anybody else views me. And those are just continual lessons that I have to, like, I talked about that on my solo episode last week. Whether anyone sees it, feels it, validates it, it's still valid because it's
Yeah.
valid to me. And it doesn't have to fucking mean or matter or make sense to anybody else but me. And so going into those conversations with authority and saying like we are both allowed our perspectives and no one's is right or wrong, it's just ours, and I'm allowed and you're allowed. But I wasn't safe either, and so
Yeah.
I think it's important for me to acknowledge that and say okay. And shit, I wasn't safe for any conversation. That's the thing that I had to realize with my husband is like, well, he's probably not going to want to talk if you're jumping his shit the second his mouth opens. Weird. Weird. But, he was really the only person that I didn't, like, fully internalize everything with. I would jump a shit. With everyone else, I was just like, "Oh, that's an interesting perspective. I hate you now, but okay." I'm never gonna forgive that, but, I mean, I can remember thinking, like, "Yeah, I'm probably never gonna get past that. I wish they hadn't said that."
Oh, so you would, like, consciously have that thought even. Oh
Yes.
my god.
Yes, Angie, because all I did was just take mental notes of all the wrongs that I was receiving in life. Were you really not like this with your Leo moon ass?
Oh, no, I am, like, the one of the best things that I've learned is something that you just mentioned about learning that my feelings and experiences are valid, whether anybody else understands or agrees with them or not. And that in turn helped me have compassion for other people because sometimes people are having feelings that I don't necessarily agree with or understand, but it's like, that's okay because I'm going to allow them to have their experience. So, no, I
Yeah.
struggled for a long time, but I
And you're
finally
right. That is a very reciprocal relationship,
yeah,
isn't
so
it?
I finally came but it started with me because I was like, "No, my feelings are valid, like, you don't have to agree with them or understand them, this is how I'm feeling."
Yeah, that's interesting because I was just thinking about that couple earlier and thinking, like, you don't have to agree with how they're saying they're experiencing this. They
Yeah,
are experiencing it this way. Just because that wasn't your intent doesn't mean that wasn't their impact.
yeah,
So you have to remember that people are viewing you and on the experiences that you have together through their own wounding. And I try not to view it that way from a shitty place of like, well, that's your perception, which I think
yeah,
can
well, and
kind of be easy
especially
to
because to
do.
your point, most of our beliefs are not true,
Right.
so it's easier to react with like, "Oh, that's not valid," when you know it's a belief and not the truth, but again, to your
Yeah.
point, some of your beliefs are so strong that it feels like the truth to you, and that's why you're having the emotions that you feel about it.
Abso-fucking-lutely, 'cause that's the thing is I had to pause earlier for myself because I was all worked up. I was like, "Oh, I think my blood pressure's getting up." With Brian because I was like, "I am so angry with you." But then I was like, "Well, if you paused for just a second, you know why this happens, and it doesn't have shit to do with you. So you're making it about you, but it's not about you." Um, and be that as it may, I am still mad, but it's not about me. It's about him. and why he makes the choices that he does. It annoys the shit out of me. His choices sometimes this really doesn't affect me. I just let it affect me. But I just my whole thing is like right now I'm really reactive to most things. Like I'm understanding that that is going to be part of my grief journey, that I'm learning how
Yeah.
to manage that and what I need when, which truly is solitude. I'm finding myself wanting to be alone a lot and then scheduling not alone.
Yeah.
I don't even wanna be around my own family a lot of the time. Like, I just am, like, staying in my little bubble and coming out whenever I feel like I can handle it.
Yeah.
My dogs are overwhelming me. Everything's really overwhelming right now, just overwhelming. But I am just kinda continually working through that checklist of, like, what do I need? When do I need it? And trying to understand too that everybody else is having their own experience too,
Yeah.
but I don't have to, like, overly empathize to where I allow their experience to override mine.
Right. Yeah, it is more difficult though in a family dynamic when you're living with different people and they're also experiencing their version of grief.
Mhm. Mhm. It is, because Bryson's a lot more reactive too, and, like, just yesterday, I had to be like, "That's just reactivity. Why are you getting upset?" Because really, strong emotions are a little too much for me right now, like,
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh my god." And so I have to, like, really calm the fuck down whenever he's upset, and I'm like, "Well, he's being reactive right now. That's all that is." Like, that's gonna pass, it always does. Like, he regulates pretty quickly, you know? So, I'm just like, "Okay, well, that's his journey." But even, like, not getting overly involved in finding the balance of how to support without overstepping, that's tricky too. And then also just like trying, like, I feel really supported by my family, but then it's also like they drive me fucking insane. Like they just like they like me and sometimes I just want them to like be away from me. So I'm like, That's fine. I wasn't doing anything in here by myself. That's fine. Come on in. Come on in. That's fine. That's my life right now, Ange. That's what we're doing. We're just managing shit. But
But
my ex sister-in-law sent me like a Instagram reel earlier that I really liked, where it was like, because oh man, I hate to say this because I try not to list, like, I hate when people say this because there's not much that you can say that's not going to irritate my spirit on some level. So it just is what it is. But also, I know that's why people don't reach out because, like, they don't want to say the wrong thing. And people say, you can't say the wrong thing. You can. So, like,
yeah.
whatever. But one of the things that I have felt a little bothered by, and this lady made me understand why, is when people are like, "It was so good to see you smiling," or "It was so good to see Bryson
Mhm.
smiling," whatever, is that they think that while we're having this really good time, that we're distracted from our grief and that we
Yeah.
don't feel it. No, that is not the truth. We are still feeling every bit of it, and you cannot understand, and I will forgive anyone who doesn't understand how that feels unless you have really grieved someone. You hold both at the exact same time. And so
Yeah.
she really she used the analogy of a braid, love, joy, and grief all just being
Mm, I
intertwined.
love that.
Yeah, and it felt really good, and she named that specific thing, and I was like, "Oh, thank you," because I was wondering, why does that bother me when people are like, "It was so good to see you," and I'm like, "Oh, it's not so good to see me cry? Like, what
Yeah,
is this?" You know?
because that's how I was looking at it, like, "Oh, I don't like being around you when you're sad, so I love it that you're happy," or
Right,
even yeah.
yeah, and she was like, it's because they think, "Oh, I was able to provide a distraction from their pain and whatever," and it's like,
Oh,
that
no.
never ever goes away,
It's still
ever.
there, I just have a smile on my face.
Right, I also feel joy, but she said it's all love because you can't feel pain or joy without love.
Yeah.
And so I was like, "Oh, I love that too." Like, yeah.
'Cause
Y
that goes back to, like, if you cut off your negative feelings, you're also cutting off your positive feelings.
Yeah, because you know what? Our triggers are there for a reason. Like they
Yeah.
are here to teach us and to help us examine. So I did mention to my friend, like, just get more curious about why things are coming up. Like it does help us so much to know our specific wounding. I am so good at recognizing neglect and betrayal now.
Yeah.
And before it was like, that doesn't make sense. I can't fit it in a box, so
Yeah.
I'm
It
pissed.
takes a while to process through, but
Yes.
now it's like, "Oh, yeah, I know where that's coming from."
Even how we talk about how perfectionism is so sneaky,
Yeah.
like betrayal and neglect may be really easy to identify, but perfectionism is not. Like, I'm
Yeah.
like, wait, so what am I? Oh, because I wasn't perfect. Fuck, it's here it is again. Here it is again. And so, just be allowing ourselves to be curious at all times. Like, yeah, I'm a human first, and I'm getting really, really comfortable with that. Like, where I can have the big fucking feelings and be a fucking psycho and, be like, meh, 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 you never choose me to my husband and whatever. And then go, okay, now what's really going on? Like, why
Yeah.
did you have that reaction? That's interesting. My go to right now really is like, you haven't had a fucking ounce of water today. You didn't get enough sleep. You know what I mean? Like, it's
Yeah, 'cause
like, okay,
sometimes it's not a big thing. It's like, yeah,
yes.
I haven't been sleeping. It's
Yeah,
like just your basic
so
needs.
much of my shit is I haven't eaten or sleep. Like so much of my shit to where I go immediately like, my bad, I need a nap. And thank God I'm around people who are like, yes, you do, baby, go take a nap. I mean, that's part of picking safe people too, is that you're allowed to be human as long as like you repair. Cause like I'm not doing the stuff I used to do where it's like this, emotionally abusive household. But it's like I'm having a big feeling, I'm reacting poorly and then, "Oh, would let me yeah, I need this real quick. Oh, here, have some fucking protein."
Yeah,
Like,
I know.
that's the people I have around is like, "Oh, how can I
Snacks
support
are a
you in
game
that?"
changer for me sometimes.
Yes, girl, yes. And sleep. I stayed up way too late. I've started fucking watching The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, and damn it, judge me if you must. Judge me if you must. I wanted some trash TV. I just did, and now I'm on season 2, and I'm in it. I'm in it. I'm in it. I'm watching it. And that's not why I stayed up. I fucking stayed up because I slept late yesterday. I really slept in, which was marvelous. And I didn't take a nap.
Yeah, that's what's
So,
hard about sleep. 'Cause, like, it takes a routine to get good sleep, and that's what makes it
yes,
so difficult.
yes. And then I don't know what woke me up today, but I jumped out of bed because I thought I overslept. Like, literally woke up and
I
jumped out of
mean,
bed. That was not necessarily the way I want to start my day. Like, I was like, "Oh,
so I
I'm no
used
longer
to start my day
disoriented."
like that for years because I just operated on pure, like, hypervigilance and adrenaline, and that's how I got up every single day. And I
Oh,
remember one time one of my friends called me out on it because at the time I didn't drink coffee. She's like, "How do you wake up?" I'm like, "I just, like" I basically described how I just jump out of bed, and she goes, "Oh, you run on adrenaline." And I was like, "Oh, damn, she's right."
girl, I'm assuming it's a part of all of this dysregulation shit,
Yeah.
but
Oh, for
I
sure.
that was first for me in a long time, and I was, like, literally looking around for danger, and 2 of my dogs slept in my room last night, which is not usual. One was in my bed, one was in the floor, and they were kinda making noise, but I think it's because I jumped out of bed, like, they were like, "The fuck
Of
is
course.
happening?" But then I was like, "Oh, now I gotta take care of them," and then this whole, like, weird thing happened, but I was like, "Damn, this is" in some ways, it was a lot easier to get going because I, like, jumped out of bed instead of, like,
Yeah,
slowly,
because
whatever.
you don't
But
need
the other ways, I
coffee
was like,
when you're
"Damn."
waking up like that.
No, oh my god. I was, like, literally looking my hands up and everything, like, "What is going on?" I looked at the time, I was like, "I'm nowhere near oversleeping. What is wrong with me? Like, what?" It was not pleasant. It wasn't. And then, still sipping on my Bang at fucking 2 o'clock in the afternoon instead of grabbing my water bottle. It's because I try to finish the damn thing and it takes me hours, and then I'm like, "Okay, here's another half empty one. I'm just gonna have to give it up because I gotta drink my water." I don't even know where my fucking water bottle is right now, damn.
You can't just save it for later. It takes me like a week to go through an energy drink because I just take a few sips and then save it for
Me
later.
too, but they get so flat and they don't make me
Yeah,
happy
that's true.
anymore. They don't make me happy. And they get uncold. Yeah. Yeah, even if I put it in their Brian
I
does
was just
that
gonna say
too.
I
He'll
put it
put it in
back in
their
the fridge,
fridge.
but it definitely gets flat.
The flat doesn't make me happy. But I have been drinking, have you heard of Popwell?
Mm-mm.
Well, it's got probiotics in it
Oh,
and
is it
they
like
have a
Olipop?
couple. Kind of, yeah. It's one of those types, and I really like them. They have this mango one that I've really liked,
Ooh,
and so Brian went and found the small cans because I do have a problem finishing drinks, and
I do too.
he, like, thinks he was raised in the Depression, so if you waste something, it's a really big deal,
That
and
always
so
bothers other people that because if I drink something like carbonated or something, I never finish the whole thing and it drives other people nuts. It's like, why do you care?
he cares because it's baseball.
But I do save it for later most of the time,
I
unless I'm at a
try.
restaurant.
I try, but I don't always. And I'm actually in this like that's such a scarcity place to like that's a scarcity mentality and I don't want to
Yeah.
have that. So I'm not entering into this drink intending to waste. I just finished
You
to the
just
point,
drink
like,
as
I
much
got
as you want.
satisfied, and
Yeah.
I don't want any more. What the fuck? And even, like, I try really hard not to be that way around food too. Like, if I'm done, I'm done. Last night, I was, like, having to have a fucking pep talk with myself about, like, I really don't fucking wanna eat any more of this, and I threw the rest away because I have his ass always just, you looking at the fucking plates and shit, see if I
Was your
finished it.
grandma, like, eat everything on your plate? Because that's how my family was.
She
So it took me
was.
a long time to get out of that habit.
I have worked for years to get past it. But it's not helpful to be married to someone just like her.
No.
He's worse than she could have ever been about it. He's so judgy about waste, and I'm like, "Oh my god, is it waste if I fucking enjoyed the amount that my body
Yeah.
said was good? Like, maybe I shouldn't have put that much on my plate, I didn't know."
So I had that conversation when my grandma was still alive because, like, we were at a restaurant. I didn't finish everything on my plate because I had, like, it took me years to break out of the habit. I was finally out of the habit, so I didn't finish everything on my plate. And so she called me out on it. And I was like, I'm not hungry. I'm full. And she was like, well, you're not being grateful. And I'm like, I'm grateful for what I ate. Just because I didn't finish it doesn't mean that I'm not grateful. Like, it doesn't have to be this whole story.
For real. That's what I'm constantly am like, "What the" like, and I've noticed that Charlie will be, like, eating more than she needs to because she doesn't wanna waste.
Mm,
He's not mean about it, but he did used to do the thing where he'd be like, "Good job," if she finished the whole plate. Don't fucking do that.
yeah.
Let her fucking eat what she wants, goddamn.
I know I have strong feelings about it
So do I.
just because it is a hard habit to break. And it,
Exactly, and I'm
yeah.
like, she's in the scarcity mentality all the time, just like you, "Thank you." It's annoying, just like we can't get rid of shit that's bajillion years old because
Oh, really?
it's mine. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why my house is so fucking cluttered because we have way too much shit. And I'm like, "Get rid of it." Anyway. Well, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. I had a really nice time with you.
Yeah. I love this conversation.
Me too. Okay. Well, I'll see you next week. I'm going to hit stop. Hang out for a sec. Hello. Before you go, make sure to check the show notes for all the links. You can join us on Patreon to get our weekly companion, The Unquiet Lowdown, and explore the other membership offers waiting for you there. And if you're enjoying the show, it means so much when you hit that follow button and give us a 5-star rating to help other souls find their way here.